you know what really makes a good film. As a filmmaker, I try to make good films, obviously, and nobody goes out to make a bad film. Let's be honest. I mean, nobody sets out and goes, hey, I want to make a film, let's make a bad one. Nobody says that, and nobody goes out with that intention. Everybody sets out to make a good film, but what then makes a good film, and what makes a film that's not so good, and what happens? I don't know about other filmmakers, but I always edit my films dry. I just think it's the best way to do it. That way, you're not influenced by a temp score and fall in love with the temp score, of course, which happens every time. I've spoken to so many filmmakers who edit to a temp score and then they fall in love with that temp score and then you can't have it. And the second thing is it tends to cover up rhythmic mistakes or errors, things that don't quite work. Not even mistakes so much as just things that don't really work. Scenes that are just maybe a touch long, or the rhythm isn't quite right, and a frame here, a frame there would make it perfect, but you don't see it because of the music. And then you put your score on it, and it just isn't as good as it could be. But if it works dry, then it works really well with a score, of course, because obviously if it works dry, then the score is just going to elevate that scene. So I always cut dry, making sure that the scene works perfectly without any sound added, without any, obviously the production sound is there, but without any additional sound effects and without any score. And then you add all that stuff and it just elevates the project from that point forward. Starting to think now about every little thing that goes into making what really makes an awesome film, and how I continue to strive for that in every project that I do. And obviously it starts with the screenplay and making that the best it can be, and then every step beyond that as you go through production and getting the best actors and getting the best production designer and your momentum building from having an excellent team around you to build that production from the ground up, and then shooting the best project you can shoot, and then going into post-production and bringing the best people in post that you can bring to really pull the project together so it can be the absolute best it can be. And of course, having a lot of money doesn't hurt, but I think you can do it on a budget too. You just have to have people who are willing to really invest themselves in the project and believe in it and believe in you. If you're the filmmaker, believe in you. And I think that comes from you believing in the project. If you believe in the project, I think people will believe in you. I like low-budget challenges, and of course, I've only ever worked in low-budget challenges, so I have to like low-budget challenges. And it does take patience to find the right people. But here's what I found. As you work, you start to find people that, A, you work well with, and you like working with them, they like working with you, they work well, you work well together, and they do good work. And you treat them well, you respect them, you collaborate well together, you respect their ideas, you encourage them to bring their best to the table, and you bring your best to the table, and then you share those ideas together, you encourage their suggestions. I love when I am putting a project together and when I'm on the set, I love the collaboration. I want people's suggestions. I don't care who it comes from. It can come from a grip, a PA, sound guy. I don't care. If I'm struggling with how to frame a scene, how to get the best out of whatever it is that I'm trying to put together, I don't care who the suggestion comes from, and I may or may not take their suggestion, because they don't necessarily share the overall vision of the project that I share, but their suggestion could spark something in me that I hadn't thought of before. And suddenly, and you know how your mind works, somebody says something and your mind goes ding, 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 and you've thought of 15 different things in 2 seconds, and suddenly you've made a leap of logic that doesn't make any sense to anybody else, but it makes perfect sense to you. And you've made the connection in just a snap, and now you've got your solution. And boom, it's there, and it seems so clear now. But before that person made that suggestion, it was like muddled, and you didn't have it. So I welcome suggestions from everybody on the crew. I take my ego and put it over there, leave it outside. When I walk on the set, it stays over there and in the car, so to speak. And we all have fun and we play, but we work really hard. We love to work really hard and play at the same time and have a great time. And I think that's what makes for a good production. Then people enjoy working with you because they know they're going to work hard, but they're going to have fun and they're going to enjoy the work and they're going to be respected for the work that they do. I don't know how better to create a good product. Those, I think, are the elements that make for a good product. I don't always do storyboards. In fact, I rarely do storyboards on my films, but I have done them on complicated shots. I have done storyboards. I usually do a shot list, and my DP, I've worked with the same DP now on several projects in a row, and we work really well together. We kind of know how each other works, but I know how my DP works, and he likes to put together a shot list, and then we sit down together and we go shot by shot, scene by scene and shot by shot, and compare our shot lists with each other. And you're absolutely right. A good relationship with your DP is the key. And we discuss our shots on our shot list. Often our shots are similar or the same, but we have moments where he says, no, this is what I want. And I say, well, this is what I want. And then we discuss it. And he tells me the reasons why he picked that shot. And I tell him the reasons why I picked my shot. And sometimes we agree to his shot. And sometimes we agree to my shot. And sometimes we end up agreeing to another completely different shot altogether that neither one of us have on our shot list. And we both write it down furiously. Okay, that's the shot then we're going to do. I am using him on pretty much everything I do unless he's too busy and I can't use him. He works all the time. So I always have to sneak him in between projects and say, are you going to be available in 3 weeks? Are you going to be available in 6 weeks? And then try to schedule my shoots when he's available, because he works constantly because he's that good. But he likes working with me and I like working with him. He's very quiet and he's very fast. And when we did that film, Worth, we shot 1 day, 1 location, 90 setups. Now, I know that's a lot of setups to get done in 1 day, but we did it. 90. 90. In 1 day. Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't a long day. It was just a regular, we were shooting at a location on Sunset Boulevard, and our permit only allowed us to be there 11 hours. We got the first hour to load in and the last hour to load out. So it was technically not a full 12-hour day even. So we worked really fast. Really fast. But yeah. I did another film with him, an 8-day shoot on an action film. We did 15 locations in that 8 days. 15. That was kind of hairy, but yeah. He's good. He's really good. That's why he's mine. Of course, he's mine and a bunch of other people too. So he's not just mine, unfortunately. But yeah, no sleep. I'm telling you, by the time we got to the end of that, our last shoot day was from 4 in the afternoon until 6 the next morning. And actually, it was only supposed to be till 4 the next morning, but you know, we were there until 6, breaking down and everything, and it was the last day, and I'm driving home. This after 8 days of shooting, 12-hour days, and then I'm not getting any sleep because I'm the director, you know, so I don't get any sleep at all. I'm getting 3 or 4 hours a night, and this was in Long Beach, and I live in the valley, and I'm driving home in rush hour traffic in LA on the freeway, and I'm like falling asleep going, I gotta stay awake. I gotta stay awake. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I'm trying like hell to stay awake on this freeway going, please don't let me fall asleep. And it was, you know, with the windows and the air conditioning blasting and trying to keep cold air on my face so I wouldn't fall asleep. And then I slept for 2 days straight because I was just like exhausted. And then I was like, okay, let's edit. Let's go. I'm a glutton. I love it so much. So, yeah. I know, I'm crazy. I don't want to do anything else but this. I love this so much. I could just do this every day for the rest of my life. You know, a little sleep and this. That would be it. I like the idea of overseeing all the aspects of the show and the trajectory of where it's going to go. That's what's interesting to me about being a filmmaker, is you're in charge of the screenplay and then the filming of it and all the aspects that go into that. And then the post-production, the sound and the music and the editing and the mixing of all of that together and the color and even the marketing and these low-budget indie things, you know, the poster design and the marketing campaign, all of that is under the purview of the filmmaker themselves because there is no studio. And so it all comes under my hat as filmmaker, and I kind of like that. And I've learned that I'm pretty good at a lot of it. Not all of it. I like to bring other people in who are really good. Yes, okay, I am a control freak. I will admit it. I am a control freak. But yeah, I think that, yeah, that is the big advantage of indies, and that would be the big advantage of being, if you're going to be in television, of being a showrunner. Yeah, is that you're the one who controls the look, the feel, the score, the edit, the direction of the show, all of that. It comes under your purview. Yes, the network, I'm sure, has a lot to say about all of it and gives you notes and tells you how they're really in control. They're really in the driver's seat. But depending on the network and how successful the show is, you will maintain a certain amount of control of that show. And that would be interesting to me. So, yeah.